if and that's not all that's possible on Quick Teller. It's also possible to send money, pay estate levy, electricity bill, school
Yeah, because
fees,
this is
and buy
kind
airtime.
of big news.
So you see, everything is possible on Quick Teller. So download the Quick Teller app or visit www.quickteller.com. Quick Teller, everyday payments made easy.
Business Express. Brought to you by Interswitch.
We're going live now.
Transaction solutions
We're
you
live.
can depend on.
All right.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. I'm Ayo Myra. Say it's time for Business Express 981. And I have Rotus with me in the studio. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Ayo. How are you doing?
Oh, there we go. That's such a very hearty.
Yeah, as opposed to yesterday. Yesterday
Yeah.
was we're kind of rough yesterday. Yesterday was a rough day.
I'm glad that you're feeling, happier, chirpier. Hopefully you have,
Interest rates are nothing has changed.
No.
Interest rate environment is still high on the lending side. Interest rate environment is still abysmal on the investment side. So nothing has changed. I got more sleep last night, so I feel better.
Fantastic. So, word of the day, get more sleep.
Yes, you need please
get more sleep.
Get more sleep. This traffic infested city.
All right. If you'd like to join the conversation this morning, we're streaming live on YouTube, so get to see, the very happy Rotus. You can go on to Smooth 981 FM Lagos on YouTube. On Twitter, we're at Smooth 981 FM. On Instagram, we're at Smooth 981. And Rotus is, streaming on his Instagram platform.
Yes.
So please follow him.
IG Live, that's right.
IG Live. And then you can send us a message on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
Excellent. So the big news is that the Central Bank of Nigeria has moved the official exchange rate from 360 to 381. Now, I should preface this, or rather qualify this with that. This came from FMDQ. FMDQ, there is an exchange that is very reputable, and they're on their website. They follow currencies, fixed income, and so on, debt markets, and so on and so forth. So they've moved. They showed the movement on their site. It has not translated to the central bank site. Let me check again and make sure. For those of you who have said that, please follow your central bank on Twitter. Also visit their website, cbn.gov.ng. Yep, I'm on there, and nope, it's still 360 on the website. But FMDQ is reporting that it's moved to 381. So again, this is in line with the promise of Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele and the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, that they will seek to unify the exchange rate windows. On Friday last week, the secondary market intervention sales, the SMIS window, where importers approached and bid for FX to bring in raw materials, that was moved from 360 to 380. And now we're seeing the official exchange rate move from 360 to 381. The INE window yesterday closed at 386. So you can see that there's a unification taking place, right? So you got 380 on the SMIS window, 381 now on the official window, 386 at the INE window. What's the impact as far as proceeds from oil sales? More funds should be coming in for FAC allocations, Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, so as the money that's going to be disbursed between the federal government, the states, and local governments. Calculation according to Business Day said about the extra 8 or 9 billion naira is what they'll see, because you've devalued now, so you're getting more naira for the oil that you are selling. Now, this is a good move, but is it enough? That's the question, because the BDCs are selling dollars now at 460, 440, right? So, and was it Goldman Sachs? Somebody did one wild valuation a year or two ago, saying that the naira should be going for 600 to a dollar. That was quite kind of crazy.
600.
Yeah, 600.
Actually, Cheta mentioned that yesterday during Freshly Pressed.
He said 600.
He said that if we allowed the market to be free, if we made it free, then it would go up to 600, then it would stabilize at some point.
Or come back down. It happened in Egypt, right? So Egypt, that's a free float. What you're talking about is floating the currency, where there's no controls, but then it will come under the mercy of speculators or whatever. So the central bank, they're making a good move. They're moving in that direction. But is 380 the true value of the naira? That's what I've been asking folks this question now for a while. Is 380 or 386, is that the true value of the naira? So that's where we're at. So now we have to see what happens now between, again, this is the World Bank is pushing this. They're like, before you get this $1.5 billion, you must unify your rates. So they're making the moves. Although again, this one where you're moving on one window, moving on the other window. I made this case before. Just make an announcement and say it's every, just this is the rate everywhere. But we'll take what we can get. Right. So we're moving in that direction ever so gradually. The AFDB, African Development Bank, they released a supplementary report to their initial forecast, GDP growth forecast for the African continent. Back in January, the AFDB said that the African continent would grow at 3.9%. That's GDP growth for the entire continent. They had to go and revise it, of course, due to COVID-19 impact. So now they're saying that we can see an economic contraction where we're going to contract by 1.7%, and that's 1.7%. Probably best case scenario. They're saying worst case scenario, we might contract by 3.4%. So that's double the contraction of the other. And they're saying if we don't find a vaccine, if things don't get better, cases are rising in the US. Brazil's president, that's that stubborn man. I want to use language that is good for proper for radio. Because there are some other words I can pick. Bolosoro, whatever his name is, he tested positive. Did you say it on the news?
We said it on the news this morning.
Brazil
tested positive, and he's referred to COVID-19 as the little flu, that it would have little or no effect on him. Bolsonaro. He said that he repeatedly played down the risks posed by the virus, calling it a little flu, saying it would be he cannot be seriously affected by it.
And see, we're making a joke. We're making, and please, no religious person should get upset here. That COVID is the Old Testament, the Old Testament God that punishes you the moment you say anything blasphemous about it. We just put that in a scenario of supernatural forces.
A number of leaders who have played it down.
Yes, the moment you say that this thing is not real, or you play down its importance,
here in Nigeria,
you catch it.
Look at Abia State Governor,
right?
Yes.
So anyway, back to the African Development Bank and back to economic projections for the continent. They're saying as long as COVID-19 cases continue to rise in countries that have stubborn leaders who play down the danger, catch it, as long as it continues to affect healthcare systems and spread, then GDP growth, because it's going to fall. Brazil is the biggest exporter of sugar. So until Nigeria's backward integration schemes with the various sugar, Dangote Sugar, all these other companies, until those things are fully fleshed out and they can actually source their own sugar, we're still going to be importing from there. If there are any issues with supply, supply chains are affected with regards to exports from a country like Brazil, which has rising. I think Brazil is the largest, has the largest number of cases, COVID-19 cases in Central America. Yeah. So you can see the economic impact on their sugar exports, which, if it reduces the supply of sugar, is going to push up prices for sugar for importers like us, which now translates down to your company that produces sugar, which now translates down to the increase in price for you and I that buy sugar. So you can see how this thing plays out when you've got a stubborn leader who doesn't follow the science, who thinks he knows more than everybody else. Ends up, I hope he doesn't pass away. I really hope he recovers from this, because Boris Johnson is another person who was shaking hands, was also being stubborn. Boris Johnson,
he didn't take it seriously.
He didn't take it seriously, and he too entered one chance with thing, but he recovered.
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right, let's take a few comments.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Benga comment says, we hope that the American president will learn something from the COVID infection of the Brazilian president. Donald Trump, who should be rallying the world, is just, He also says, Reuters, Nigeria is not Egypt or any other country. If the currency goes up, it will stay there or move higher. That's a worrying thing. He says, do things in Nigeria obey natural laws of economics? Well, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
And then MI says, the inevitable big R word should have been more exciting if we were an exporting country. 381 is a pegged rate. We all know what happens at the banks and BDCs. 600 to $1, that would be mad.
I know,
Brazil's president, though, COVID is a very petty virus. Isabi here, COVID.
Exactly.
Then Shay from VI says it was Goldman Sachs.
It was Goldman Sachs. Yeah, thank you. So
Thank
it was
you,
Goldman. I said it should be 600. So anyway, the African Development Bank is saying that we should have a recovery of 3% growth in 2021. However, even if that recovery takes place, the loss in output in dollar terms, they said is between 107. It was projected or estimated to be between 176 billion dollars to 236. So it's a big loss to the continent. Resource dependent nations, tourist dependent nations, remittance dependent nations. That's Africa for you. Very dependent on money coming in from outside. So that's the projection. They just released it yesterday. I think they're having one webinar. Everybody's doing webinars now. They're having a webinar today, African Development Bank, on I think digitization in the digitization in agriculture. So I think that's at about 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, check them out. Check out the webinar if you have the chance. Real quick, NIBS, the Nigerian Interbank system, released a report on e-bill payments. They've actually fallen with respect to January through May. They were comparing 2017 through to 2020, and I mean the report is there with some colorful charts. It was very interesting as far as the volume of payments. We had 124,000 for 2020 in January. It fell to about 44,000 in March. In a nation of 200 million people, where, okay, forget the 200 million, where there's about 40 million bank accounts, only 120,000 e-bill payments were processed. 120,000 with 40 million. Ha!
Okay, so look at it, right? They're trying to push e-banking, e-payments, and so on, but you're making it more difficult with the online charges. There's a distrust or mistrust.
Well, that's a low number. 120K.
But that's what I'm saying. They're trying to promote, and you're putting in policies that's anti what you're trying to do. So
but again, that 120K, that was January. It fell to 44K in March. So only 44,000 e-bill payments. Anyway, see, the point is that schools were closed, and most the schools make up a large number of that. What else? People were laid off, salaries were cut, jobs were lost.
I thought people would have done more e-transactions at this time.
March spiked, but you see again, that's the one thing. That's e-transaction. This one is bill payments, paying a bill.
Yeah, so, so rather than going physically because we're restricted, I thought it would have. So you have seen a spike in that.
Yeah. So the spike in terms of value, the value. So I think we're still over 100 billion naira.
Okay.
So but the thing is, it's a shrinking pool of volume. The value you can attribute it to the fact that things are more expensive in 2020 than they were in 2016, stuff like that. But it's still the number of people, the number of bill payments taking place. We still have quite a way to go.
All right.
We
have Yinka saying, morning Iritis. Are we sure that 381 naira is the true value of the
Yinka? That's what I'm asking.
However, should we allow a free float and all? I don't trust this our economy that does not obey any single theory in economics. Our greed and literacy will drive the rates to 3,000 naira. When some people are happy when the nosedive, since it's more useless naira for them.
Right. Someone on my IG live fun calling says e-bills is a platform and not every bank account holder uses it. That's a good point. But I mean, only 120K out of how many million? I mean, that's kind of a low number. But and are we done?
Yes, we are.
Okay, well, there was one more. I'll pick it up tomorrow or Friday, Tech Friday.
Don't be sounding like that. So your people will be sending me DMs that let's stop. Don't be sounding like that.
No, Ayo is lovely. Ayo gives me the air traffic control signals, and we're good. So thank you all for your messages. And look, we'll see how this exchange rate thing plays out and everything else. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Social distance.
Social distance. And don't say bad things about COVID-19 or downplay it. All right, that's all we have at this time. Don't forget, join us at 7:30 for Freshly Pressed 91. In the meantime, enjoy some great smooth music for now.
Brought to you by N360. Transaction solution.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be done. I have to go and fix that door. Okay.
It didn't stop on here.
No, it's the one that.
Are you for real?
The door knob is broken.